Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Martinez with Martinez Art Lab. For today's project, we are going to be creating a civil rights poster in Adobe Illustrator 2020. Prior to opening up Adobe and starting this, you will have decided on which civil right you are going to be illustrating in your poster. So there's a lot of brainstorming and planning and discussing and sketching that will happen before you even open this program. But once this is done, then you'll open Adobe Illustrator. The civil right that I'm going to be illustrating in my project today, in my example, is goes along with the Black Lives Matter movement. So that's an important civil right to me. So what I'm going to do is do, I guess, kind of something that goes hand in hand with it. So to get started, I've opened Adobe Illustrator and I'm going to click Create New. And then I'm just going to keep the default. The default is the left-hand side, the upper corner, and it's just a letter size document. So I'm going to keep the default. I'm going to keep all my defaults over here. The orientation you might want to change if you want it landscape or if you want it poster or portrait. So if you want it a vertical or if you want it horizontal, I'm going to choose the vertical option, my portrait version. So I just click that icon. I'll click create. Now I've got my document that's pulled open. I'm going to show you a couple tools. Everybody's tools are going to vary greatly in this project on what you're making and what you're using. For this project, you are able to use both Photoshop and Illustrator. I'm going to stick with Illustrator in this project, and I'm going to just show you the pen tool real quickly. When I click, my first click and my last click need to end up in the same spot. Click, because I'm making a solid shape. Now I want to change the color of that. So I'm going to go over to under appearance. I'll go to fill, click that. I'm just going to pick bright pink just so you can see what I've done. If I want to change the outline of it, the stroke of it, right now it's black. I could change it to any color. I'll just leave it black. I'm going to change the weight of that stroke. So right now it's 1 point, so it's a really thin line. I'm going to change it to 7 points just so you can see what it is exactly. I'm going to just click off to the side so you can see what we've made here. I will leave that up and delete it before I get started. Now my rectangle tool, I'll click on that, the little arrow to pull open my drop down, and I've got lots of different shape options. I'll do a star, and when I left click and drag, it makes my star. All my other options that I've chosen are the defaults. I'm going to click my tool to move my arrow, so this black arrow, or move my star. I'll choose the black arrow, and I'm going to just change my options really quickly. I'll change the fill to a yellow. I'll change the stroke color to a blue. And then I'll make it even thicker. I'll change it to 15 points. Just kind of click off to the side so you can see what I've done. I just want you to be aware of your different options and what you can use in this project and what's available to you. If I click on the paintbrush tool, I'm going to see the blob brush tool and a pencil tool. I'm going to use the paintbrush tool right now. The other two have similar uses, and I'm just going to draw. So I'm going to click and drag my mouse until I'm done. So I've just drawn a line, just kind of a squiggly line. Again, just to show you what the tool can do. The stroke is the color for the paintbrush. So right now it's blue, but I will change it to, let's change it to green. And it did not change because I needed to have that selected. So if I go up to my selection tool and click on it, when that's selected, it will show the blue box around it. Now I can choose my stroke and I can change it to green. Then I just kind of click off to the side. So any changes you make, your object needs to be selected in order to use it. So our eraser tool is right there. And then our text tool is just as it looks. So I'm just going to click here and it pulls open a text box. So I'm going to put text test, and then I'll double click to select it, and then I can change my options. So I can change my font size, I can change my font style, and I can use my move tool to move it around. Okay, if I use the anchor boxes, it will change the size of my text. I can, do whatever I want to, or I could change the size through my font style. This is kind of getting it out of proportion, but I can fit it exactly as I want it to fit. So those are your options. I'm going to select everything and delete it. So delete, 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 and delete. Now I know my different options that I can use, and I'm going to go ahead and start my project. For my project, I'm going to, again, Black Lives Matter is an important civil right to me, so I'm going to do a take on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a background of shapes, and I'm going to put text on top that says see color. It's important to see color. You have to acknowledge color in order to support the Black Lives Matter movement and understand your human beings around you. So that's what we're going for right now. And my tools I'm going to use, I'll choose the rectangle tool. I'm just going to make some rectangles. And while I do that, I'm going to keep the stroke at a transparent. I don't want any outline on it. So I'll click transparent, and then I will change my fill to black. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy that. So I will go to edit and copy, and then edit and paste. And I'll do that maybe 3 times. Now I'll go to my move tool, and I'm just going to put this shape around. And when I move my arrow, you see it changing to that arrow. I'm going to left click and drag to change the direction of my shape. And maybe I'll change the size of it too. So I just left click and dragged to do that. And then I'll go to the corner. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go back to my rectangle. I'm going to left click and drag to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to change the fill color to a darker gray, or a dark gray. I'm going to copy that. Oops. I need to use my select arrow, and I'll go to edit and copy, then edit paste, and I'll paste that 2 times. And in fact, I'll go in here and I'll just left click and drag at one of the corners to make that fit and create some interest here. All right, so now I've got this shape. Now I'll go ahead and draw another rectangle. So you're getting the gist of what I'm doing. I am going to use different fill colors and different grays. So I'll skip a gray tone and use this gray. And now I'll use my move tool, my selection tool. I'll copy and paste 2, 3. So I've got 4 shapes I can use, and I can fit them in there however I see fit. I'll make that a little bit wider. I'll make that a little bit taller. And now I will just keep going. So I'm just using this rectangle tool. My poster is going to be just shapes and text. And I'll use a lighter gray. And I will use my selection tool. I will copy and paste. And I will paste 3 times. So now my rectangles are going to overlap a bit. I'm okay with that. That's the look I want to go for. Seeing that little bit of a white outline. So as I get more shapes in here, I'm going to start kind of overlapping. Oops, I double clicked too much there. And I will make this size a little bit different. I'll drag that down a little bit because now I really want it to start overlapping. I'll do another shape, another shade of gray. Oops, that's too close for me. So I'll choose that gray and I will use my select tool and I will copy and paste. I will paste 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Go back to I'll cancel that. I'll go back to my select tool. I'm going to change this shape to fit right up here. And then I'm going to change this shape to fit right in here. And all I'm doing again to change the shape is left clicking and dragging. If I don't have overlap, I want to make sure I have it because that's helping me cover any little white spaces that I need to cover. Okay. And I will change that to that. And I will make this a smaller shape. Drag it down, drag it larger. And then I will do one more box. Open that up. And this time I'll choose my lightest gray. It looks like that is a match, so maybe I have already used that gray. I will go back and choose my very lightest gray. Go back to my move tool and I will copy that and paste it 3 times. 2, 3. All right, so you get the gist. A very simple shape can create a very interesting composition. Now I'm actually going to change the shape of this one or the color of this one because it's too close to all the other grays. So I will choose a darker gray. And same with this. We'll get a darker gray in there. Now I will draw one more rectangle. And I'm going to change that gray. I'm going to copy that. Remember, I have to use my select tool. I'm going to copy and paste, paste. I used the keyboard shortcut on my keyboard when I did that. So I am going to resize by left clicking and dragging. And I will change that color since I don't want the same colors overlapping. I'm going to just left click and drag to fit that. And now I have my background done. So I've got my background. I'll change this because that color needs to pop a little. I'm just going to check the colors, make sure I don't have any light colors touching each other or anything that sticks out in particular. Looks good, looks where I want it to be. So oh, there's one. Nope, that's good. Oh. Okay, so my background looks good. Looks great for a tutorial example. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. Now I'm going to add my text. So I'm going to click and I'm going to type, I'm going to put it all caps and I'm going to type C color. And I need to get this much larger than what it is. So I will make my text 72. That's even not big enough for me, so I'm going to double click on that and type in 150. We are going to get crazy and make it 200. That is about right. So I'm going to get my move tool. I'm going to move this down. I know that this is not the font I want to see, and I also know that this is I can't see some of my letters. So now I'm going to change colors and I know I'm going to change my font. So I'm going to go to my font style and I'm going to change this to just a nice simple font that's thick My letters look thick. So let's go ahead and do Arial black. And we're going to keep this regular. See, I don't even like that font. So these are the little choices that you will experiment with and see what's going to look best. I'll choose impact, and I'm going to center this. So under paragraph, I'll put align center, go back to my select tool, and move my text box so it is actually centered. Okay, so that looks about right. Now I'm going to, since my background is black and white, I'm going to change the colors of my letter into rainbow order and choose lots of colors. So the first letter I will make red, and I'm just left clicking and dragging to select one letter at a time. The second color I will make orange. Checking to see if you all remember rainbow order. Yellow. And I gotta come down and just select one letter at a time. I'm using my fill to change that color. Got green, now I'm gonna change that to blue. So I'm almost done here. And I'm gonna change my fill color to purple. Now, as I'm finishing up for this, you do not have to have your civil rights poster the same as mine. You do not have to choose the same civil right as I did. I want you to have fun with this project, and I want you to choose something that you believe in. Okay, so just review what a civil right is. Remember, talk about this, sketch this, brainstorm ideas before you even think about opening up Adobe Illustrator. The last step I'm going to do is click my select tool. I'm going to click right on the text box. This is about the size, but I actually want my C color words even bigger. So I'm going to left click and drag, and I don't care if my text gets a little bit out of proportion. I want it to just take up everything, and then I will move it down to the center. And this is what I'd like. So now I can save this as a PNG file. So to do that, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to Export As. Now I'll be able to choose my option PNG. We're going to save as a PNG for your project and to submit. So I will save the title. It's already highlighted. This is remember, always write your name and the name of the project. And then I will click export and my file will be there. So enjoy making this project, have fun, and let me know if you have questions.